Hey! From the field
Hey,
to the card shop, it's Boo 3PO and Bro PO breaking down baseball and the hottest sports cards. Bro PO, it is a Wednesday night. Hopefully, you guys are listening to this on Friday, which means it's officially game one of the Fall Classic. Bro PO, how you doing? How's your night going so far?
we good, we good. Just finished watching episode one of the new Boston Red Sox documentary that just hit Netflix. So pretty interesting. So even if you're not a Sox fan, you should go give it a watch. I think it has a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I don't think we're too familiar with, or if we do know about it, it's a little bit more in depth. It's a pretty cool watch. But on that, how you doing, my brother?
I am doing well. I myself watched episode one on my lunch break. Yeah, it was a pretty good watch. That was going to be some of my final thoughts stuff towards that. Um, but yeah, episode one was a good watch. Learned some new things. Obviously, if you guys are listening to the pod, I am the youngin on this podcast. So 2004, I was a little youngin. Obviously, I know the history of about it and all that good stuff. Obviously, being the diehard Red Sox fans that we are. But yeah, there's some stuff in there already that I didn't know about or that I maybe knew about, and like the episode kind of like re-hindered that thought, like, oh damn, like that happened, like, oh, this happened. And like I always knew, like, obviously watching Moneyball, like I knew Billy Bean had the job. I didn't know he had it for like 3 days. I thought it was more like he agreed to it and thought, hey, I don't want it anymore. I didn't know it was like 48, 72 hours. Like, oh, I got a daughter. Never mind. I don't want it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
I
know.
didn't
That's
I
kind of
didn't even
crazy.
know about the whole like John Henry popping champagne and stuff like that and having a toast and stuff like that. So
Yeah. And like,
that was pretty wild. Because you
did you
would
get
think
the
it'd be
idea that
official.
did you get the idea that he kind of like, I don't want to say hated Theo, but was like, I don't like,
I probably think he was probably within the narrative that, oh, he's probably too young, like the way all of everybody probably thought. So I think that's what it was, and I'm pretty sure he didn't. Well, I can't really say he didn't like the nerds because Billy Bean was kind of a nerd in a sense.
the leader of
So
the nerds. Yeah.
yeah, so I really don't know. I just yeah, it kind of makes it seem like he wasn't too happy about the choice. That's why he didn't pop any bottles for Theo.
Yeah. I found that part. Did you pop any bodies with Theo? No.
Nope.
Nope.
Well, we haven't
But
really been doing any of that, Mr. John Henry, haven't we? Good sir.
no, we have not. And
Come
that,
on.
I feel like during the off season, that's going to be our every episode is going to be our Red Sox rant during the off season. Maybe it'll change. Maybe a player that's
So,
going to be in the World Series is going to be a future Red Sox. We don't know. But of
oh,
course,
brother.
that is off season talk. We will obviously get to that when we get there. But the big step is we obviously got to get to the Fall Classic. We got the Dodgers up there. It goes right there. Got that from our good friends. So rare. Still can't believe you got that one total bat when I was dive deep into the digital collectible space and doing all that stuff. And I even introduced you to show rare. So the fact that they picked you and not me is ridiculous. But again, that's an episode uh, for a different time. But the Fall Classic is officially here. World Series Game 1 is officially in Friday in LA, but that is jumping ahead. Before we do that, of course, want to recap the ALCS and the NLCS. First off, before we do that, want to tip my cap off to you, Bro Pio, as far as on the AL side, because your bracket was to a T. I applaud you. I tip my cap to you. That was pretty impressive. I was out on a Saturday night when the Yankees clinched, and I tweeted "Bro Peel knows ball" because he had it. And if you're a listener to the podcast, maybe you're filling up some brackets in. Maybe you're making a couple of picks somewhere here, a little couple of picks on draft picks, a couple of picks on underdog fantasy. You know who's gonna win the bracket. And if you listen to Bro Peel, you maybe would have had some cash. So just want to tip my cap off to
Maybe.
you that before we dive deep into that. But since we're there, let's just start off. The ALCS. I would ask you, but I feel like I already know your answer, but I'm going to ask it anyways. That series basically went the way that you thought it would go.
Yep. I think I even called it to a T. I think when we did the series prediction, I think I had it at a 4-1.
Yeah.
And I mean, and if you honestly think about it, the one game that the guards did win was probably like the most memorable game out of the whole series, other than the fact everything was kind of boring. But that one game from the eighth inning on was like bonkers. It was a Judge home run to take the lead, and then it was Stanton followed up with the go ahead home run. Um, and then you have the Guardians that come back with Big Christmas hitting that. two out, two strike, 2 run home run, and then David Fry walks it off. I mean, that was like baseball, playoff baseball in a nutshell, all within like an hour and a half, 2 hours that all that transpired. Um, and while all that was going on, the NLCS was going on, and Shohei was hitting homers on his end. It was like, dude, it was pretty crazy. But yeah, I think it pretty much went the way that I pictured it would go. That the Guardians bats were just dead. They had like no life in them. Um, but yeah, I mean, what you think about
And
it? What you got?
yeah, I mean, obviously when we did the predictions, like when we made our brackets, obviously I did not have the Guardians going that far. I have obviously had the Stros going there, and even I think at the Stros at the time, I feel like maybe would have given them a better fight, but I think always in the end it was going to be New
Yeah,
York. I think that was the fan base in me, the Red Sox fan in me that didn't want New York to be there. That would have led to that. You obviously have a little bit more stronger willpower than I do, but yeah, I mean that series kind of went the way that I thought because even when we after the whole bracket and we got to the ALCS and NLCS, had the Yankees going there, I at least gave I was hoping benefit of the doubt the Guardians would at least take two, make it a 6 game series. But yeah, no, you kind of nailed it there. It went the way that you had it. Um, the Guardians not having enough firepower behind the offense, even though they did have some signs of life from here and there. Kyle Manzardo had a pretty good showing in the league championship series. Obviously, Big Christmas had that big home run, like you mentioned, David Fry. But like other than that, like there wasn't that much of boppers, which is what I kind of feared. Stephen Kwan, even though he's a great hitter, not really a true power hitter. Josh Naylor didn't really do much in the ALCS, um, and to me, just looked like real sloppy. Like I like the first game when they're making errors or dropping fly balls. Like I think I put out a tweet. I don't know if it was on my personal page or on the Moon through BO page. Was like the Guardians definitely restoring their age. Like they're throwing wild pitches. They're missing, things like that. Bo, missing a couple of, you can say he maybe would have blocked them, maybe not, depending on. I know the old timers hate the catchers being down on one knee type thing, but you could make the argument for that. But yeah, I just think the Guardians just showed their age, not really having that veteran. I mean, Jose Ramirez obviously a veteran, but not a lot of guys that have been there and done that. And the Yankees have been there, done that. They have those guys that are due for that hit. And that's what we saw there. Even though Giancarlo only had like 4 hits, they're all 4 homers. He's been there, done that, and he's
yeah,
known for that. Juan Soto was like licking his chops when he was up there. Like he knew he was going to do what he did. Aaron Judge, you got his body, his carcass dragged down the line there to the World Series by Juan Soto and Giancarlo. But yeah, it went the way that I thought it would. The pitching, the bullpen was okay. Clase, I don't know what the fuck happened with
yeah. I
Clase.
was
I don't
legit
know.
just about to mention that I think that I mean the Guardians. I think what I pointed out was one of their biggest strong points that I liked them better over the Yankees was their bullpen, and the fact that Clase was out there. And I was just trying to look up his numbers. So yeah, he had a 2 and 1 innings pitch, 2 and a third innings pitch. I'm sorry. 4 earned runs, 2 home runs. That's a 15.43 ERA. Um, yeah, I think he gave up like 5 runs all season or something like that,
Yeah,
and he gave
something
up
like that.
four
Yeah.
within 2 innings. So I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was maybe like a fatigue matter. Um, yeah, I don't know, but the Yankees just like completely destroyed him. So I have no clue what happened to him there.
Yeah, the whole situation was weird. Like even after they still won the game, but when he blew the save again, and then he was like on Instagram and like flexing like those like weird
Yeah, he was
like
like,
championship
yeah,
ring. Like I don't know what he was trying to prove there on that. The only thing that I realistically get that I can think of was like you mentioned the fatigue, or if he was tipping. Like I don't know if there's anything there on tipping. I know from going to the National League side, I know they said that Devin Williams was tipping. There was a couple of people who broke that down. I don't think
mm,
I've seen a breakdown of Class A
yeah. I don't think I.
pitching.
Yeah,
But man, they were just like on everything. Like he was not got like it wasn't like he wasn't fooling anybody. Like they were on like every pitch. And I think that's some of the struggle with I don't say a struggle, but some of the advantages some of these hitters have sometimes in the postseason. Like if you're in this case, the Guardians and Stephen Vogt, if you're having them go 2 innings, 3 innings, whatever the case may be, those hitters are seeing them more. They have more advantage to that. They've like, all right, I just saw this guy yesterday for this amount of pitches. I have more data on him. Like, I think it's more advantage to the hitters than rather than the pitchers. And I think after a while, it just comes to bite you in the ass. And I think that's what we saw um, with that series. And he was even struggling in the previous series as well. So I don't know exactly what happened. I know from what I was hearing too, like I obviously don't watch a lot of Guardians ball uh for a lot of good reason, not a lot of excitement on it. Obviously they're a good team, but not a lot of like draw power to watch them. But supposedly like Stephen Vogt, that's the way he manages the bullpen. I really can't confirm nor deny that. But yeah, it just seems like to me some mismanages there, maybe pulling the starters a little bit more earlier than we would have thought. Um, but yeah, I think the series just went the way that I think everybody kind of thought it would have gone.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm looking at his numbers right now. He pitched 74 innings this year, which was two more than his um so it says his career mark, but his other highest stat was 72.2. So only 2 innings more. And I'm looking at his regular season numbers. He had a 0.61 ERA, but his FIP was actually a 2.23. I don't know if that is it. I know it's not still dominant numbers, but I mean, that's something to kind of look out there. But yeah, I don't know what happened to him. Um, yeah, in the ALDS, he had a 6.35 ERA. So yeah, maybe he ran out of gas. The
Yeah.
Goose Bus is out of gas.
And then I guess so when we're on that, I guess we'll stick with the Yankees a little bit here. Obviously, we saw some chatter online. I know I said it to a relative of mine, a couple of friends of mine. Um, do you think this was the easiest path for the Yankees to the World Series?
I think so. I mean, I think it also speaks more volume of how non-dominant the whole AL kind of is, if, in a sense. Because people were saying that the biggest threat to the Yankees were the Astros, who got demolished and wrecked by the young and gun and Detroit Tigers, and then the Orioles, who looked lifeless against the Royals. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of a better fight those two teams would have put up. For one, the Astros. People are always like, "Oh, that's the Yankees kryptonite," and I'm like, "Yeah, but that's also not the same Astros teams that are out there. Verlander's not the same. Cole's not there in Houston anymore. He's in New York now. Springer's not there. Correa's not there. Those guys who actually were in the thick of the fight with the Astros, they're not there. So those are whole new guys. Um, and then same thing with the Orioles. I mean, if you can just say, oh, they're their division rival and they know what they throw, I mean, you can make that argument too. That can go either way. But I mean, I don't know how much of a bigger threat those guys would have been. And then the Central, in a sense, is just a joke. They need to just demolish that division, blow it up. So yeah, I mean, the Indians, the Tigers went 5 games and like supposed to like probably like you can make argument maybe the two weakest teams of the whole playoffs. But anywho's, yeah, I mean, is it easy? Yeah, probably. But as like I said, I get. I don't. It just I think it speaks to how non-strong the whole AL is in general, in my
Yeah, I
opinion.
agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. I don't think winning 3 games and then winning another four is ever easy to do in a postseason format. So I necessarily don't want to say like, oh, it was a cakewalk for them. That they definitely play some of the weaker teams. Yeah, but again, it kind of goes back to what you just stated here. Definitely, the AL was weaker than it has been years past, and as a Red Sox fan, it pisses me off even more because the bias in me once again feels like I think the Red Sox would have put a little bit of a better fight if it wasn't the wild card or whatever. Just the way that we know how they can play and the way that they showed. I believe they're
Hmm.
better than the Royals. I believe they're better than the Guardians. They're a talented team than the Guardians, or I was going to say the Tigers. So yeah, that just pisses me off even more. But yeah, I don't think it was necessarily the easiest path, but they definitely had an advantage, obviously. And I think it also shows that a 1 seed team can finally make it to the World Series. Obviously, that was a conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago too on the last podcast. Was like, does the bye week affect the? Like, obviously you saw with the Phillies and we've seen in the years past as well with the new playoff format. But I mean, I think the Yankees showed like regardless of who you're playing, there's a way to stay fresh, quotation marks, fresh. There's a way to stay ready to play those teams. Who knows if what would happen if they played a red hot Detroit Tigers? Who knows what would have happened with that? But I mean, the Guardians took care of them, so that kind of, again, they were another team that had a bye. So yeah, the Guardians being the second seed kind of answers my question, I would say, because I don't think they're a second seed team. They're a good team, don't get me wrong, and I think they will
Yeah.
continue to be a good team for years to come, depending on how they continue to develop, if they invest, whatever they decide to do. But yeah, them being a second seed definitely shows where that division is at and where the whole league in general, as far as the American League comes by. So Yankees took care of business. That's all we can say. That's all I can really say about the Yankees. If they would have not made it, that would have been embarrassing for Yankees, for all the players involved, for ownership, for Hal, for whoever is involved these days. That would have been more embarrassing on their part. So I don't know how Yankee fans or how they would have responded if they didn't go that far, or even take care of them in fashion. I feel like if that ALCS went 7, I think that's even a little bit more embarrassing too. Because I was like, you let the Guardians go to 7 with you. The Royals took you to Game 5. Like, really? So that's just my opinion on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a lot of chat on. I was like, let me ask that question. I know we talk a little bit of ball on the side, but I was like, I'm gonna save that for the pod. But yeah, ALCS again. AL, I tip my cap to you, sir. You nailed it. Yankees are in the World Series for the first time since 2009. How old was I in 2009? Let's do quick math. 2009. I'm 25. Let's do some quick math. 2024. 2009. No. I was 15. I was 10.
No, you're.
I was like 9, 10.
Yeah, I was 17 when that
Yeah.
happened.
I was like 9 or 10 years old. You know what's I'm gonna blow your mind right now. You want me to blow your mind?
What's up?
Big Justice has never seen the Yankees win a World Series.
Oh my
This is Big Justice. First time seeing the Yankees in the World Series.
I wonder that kid is so happy. He's got his chicken bakes. He's got his Yanks in the World Series. Shoot.
Dude's living it up, bringing the
Speaking of which,
booze.
I had my first chicken bake this past weekend. That was pretty good. So
on the boom meter, what do you give it to?
I don't know what this is, but I give it like 10 booms.
You can't do that. It's on an 8 boom meter. It's an 8 boom meter.
Well, I'm saying it's a 10 boom. Yeah.
You heard it here. You heard it here, folks. Heard it first here on Cardboard Dugout. Bropio gives the chicken bake 10 booms on the 10 boom meter. But yeah, Big Justice has never seen
Can't wait to see that graphic.
Oh, that's gonna be clipped and on the pod on Friday morning. World Series pod. We're talking chicken bakes and Big Justice. I gotta go to Costco. Gotta get myself a double chunk chocolate cookie. Gotta give me one of those.
I heard that he's saying it wrong. That it's not the product, because he's saying double chunk chocolate cookie or something like that.
Double chunk chocolate cookie.
But I heard he's saying it wrong. That it's like, I heard it's called something else. Hold on. That he's leaving something out.
Maybe the chip. Yeah, double chocolate.
He says double chunk. He says
double chunk. He says double chunk chocolate cookie.
Put Costco cookies.
Hey, Daddy! What is that? It's a double chunk chocolate cookie.
Double chunk chocolate cookie. Is he missing a chip?
So he says double chunk chocolate cookie.
Chocolate cookie. Right? The only thing I could think of is if he's missing chip. Double chocolate chunk chip cookie. Double chunk chocolate chip cookie. That's the only thing I can think of.
What it is. Hold on, double
chunk chocolate cookie. Double chocolate
That's
chunk.
What it is.
That's probably what it is. Somebody look up the Costco menu.
Double chunk chocolate cookie. He's probably missing the chip. That's probably what it is.
Hey, probably.
So it's not that big of a mess, but I don't
Someone
know.
look up the Costco menu. Someone look up the Costco menu
I'm
and
trying
tell
to
me
find
if
it and I can't. I thought I saw it on Twitter or something. Somebody was
if
like,
he's been
"He's not
saying
even
this whole
saying it
wrong.
right."
If he's been saying it wrong this
I
whole
was like,
time.
"Who's keeping count?"
Unless it just says chocolate chip cookie. Unless he made his own thing up. It says the oversized cookie warms and is big enough to share if you're feeling generous. It replaced the churro. Oh my god! It replaced the churro on the menu in
See,
January
you see
2024.
what you're promoting?
Oh lord! It's a delicious treat, but
God,
make
there's
sure to grab some extra
700 calories in that cookie.
Don't
Jesus.
surprise me. It's a double chunk chocolate cookie. Don't surprise me. Have you seen that damn cookie? That shit's huge.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't have it there?
Nah. It asked me if I wanted to add it on, but I was like, nope.
Yeah, I would have done it. I would have done it for the content.
Maybe next time.
So there you have it. Bro Pio is a fan of the chicken bakes, not a fan of the double chocolate chunk cookie. Keeping it on track, heading off to the east side where we have another social media presence there, the Rizzler and his New York Mets. But unfortunately, the New York Mets not making it to the NLCS, unfortunately being eliminated in 6 games. Grimace is officially down, which ironically enough, that McDonald's is having this issue now. So I think all of McDonald's is worldwide is just completely shutting down with Grimace being
I
down.
think I think the E. coli got ate by the Grimace and he died, and so did the Mets.
When Grimace go down, the Mets go down, everything just goes down, and E. coli is out. So unfortunately, bad timing for everything they're dealing with Grimace, McDonald's, and the Mets. But for the Dodgers, there, of course, taking the series 4-2, and that's what I had correct on my side. Obviously, did not have the Mets on being on the NLCS. I don't think anybody had the Mets making it to the NLCS. But the Dodgers obviously put on a show, and no pun intended, a show, and Shohei Ohtani put on a show and making it there to the World Series for the first time since the COVID year in 2020. Now, I'll let it go to you once again. I think that series was everything that we thought it would be.
Yeah, and I think the guys that we said have to go to get the Dodgers to the next round did go in Shohei and Mookie. Um, I Shohei obviously didn't have a good NLDS, but he did turn it around. In the NLCS, he ended up batting 364, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. Of course, the MVP went to wow, what's his name? Tommy Edman.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, yeah, I think that was those were some good entertaining games, some blowouts, so if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of offense from the Dodgers. Um,
Yeah, it wasn't like any like
which
back
is
and forth
yeah,
stuff. It was like just like real big blows, real big knockouts. Nothing like back and forth like we saw in these division series.
yeah. I think the games were more well. No, not even because even the Dodgers had some blowout games too against the Padres.
Hmm.
But I think that just proves that how potent that fucking offense is. It's just left and right. You just never know what you're going to get hit. Um, and I think they even said Freddie's is cleared to start the World Series. I know they haven't announced the rosters yet, but I think I last saw that he's good to go for Game 1. So that's a big. That's going to be big for them. So I mean, with those 3 guys are there, not including the other cast and crew. Um, yeah, I think they're loaded up. They're ready to go.
Yeah. And I again, if you listen to Cardboard Dugout previous episodes, we like hinted on like hit everything. I think on to the T. We talked about Mookie. You kind of hinted there a little bit that he needed to show up, not just in the division rounds, but in all the postseason. Had a little bit of a slow start in the NLDS, but the NLCS definitely picked it up. 6 games, they're hitting 346 with 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 stolen bags. So he definitely picked it up. Kike hitting 292. Of course, he had that big home run as well. He ended there. Freddie Freeman, I think he's going to be the biggest question mark. Only played 4 games, hit 167. Teoscar had a little bit of a slower NFCS, only hitting buck 91, or I'm sorry, not buck 91, hitting it below a buck, hitting just .91. So had a little bit of a slower NLCS than an NLDS, but even still, even without those strong performances, they did what they were supposed to do. And from the pitching side, again, I know their pitching wasn't the bright spot. I know everyone keeps talking about the weaknesses on their spot. But the pitching, I think, is what, and the bullpen, going to bullpen games, being up 1-0, going to bullpen games and the clinching game, that was huge. And yeah, we highlighted my guy, Michael Kopech. Love that man to death. We'll take a bullet for Michael Kopech. Michael Kopech here in 5.1 innings pitched, 1.69 ERA, gave up 2 hits, 1 earned. Even that 1 earned should be a little bit of a question mark just because it was on that little bloopy son from Polar Bear Pete Alonso. He did look a little bit wild. I was a little bit worried about that watching that game. He looked too fired up. I know I've seen that from him from time to time where he just kind of just looks too dialed and his fastballs are sailing. But yeah, he looked fine throughout the whole postseason. Yamamoto, he looked fine. Walker Buehler, Jake Flaherty, those guys all had a pretty good showing. So a lot of the guys that we highlighted on the Dodgers that we thought were key points to get them to where they needed to go, got them there. So I think that was really cool to see those guys finally show up and start balling out. And then of course Shohei doing Shohei things.
Yeah. And with the Mets, I just want to talk about the Mets for a little bit. I mean, they were such a fun team this year. They gave us all the laughs, they gave us the gay Mets, the grimace, the oh my god, all that stuff.
Oh
And I
my
don't,
god.
oh my god,
It's a good song
and
though.
I don't want to, and I hate even saying this because I really don't, but I don't like they were kind of like that Cinderella team in a sense, but again, they're not because they have such a high payroll. They should have been there, and stuff like that, but they just had that they could have had that 2019 Nationals esque run where they were like out like so many games of the division under 500. They came back, sneaked into the playoffs, had this run, knocked off. Um, they had that 162 game with the Braves, and then they knocked off the Brewers, got past the Phillies, the number one seed Phillies, and it's kind of just that it's kind of like that weird stretch in the middle of the season, that summer stretch where you're hot, you win a couple of games in a row, and then and then the run just goes cold. And I think that's essentially what just happened here because the Dodgers are just a better team in a sense. But um, yeah, but I mean, they gave us some fun moments this year, so
Yeah,
let's see what
I think
happens.
if
They have
you're
a lot of money coming off the books next year, so I know they're going to be in the Juan Soto race essentially. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, if you're the Mets and you're a Mets fan, or you're deep and rooted into the Mets, it's one of the more cliche quotes. Don't be sad that it's over, be happy that it happened, because you had all the issues in the beginning of the season. You're 0-5, your stadium is empty. You got Jorge Lopez throwing the glove into the stands, like the wheels were off the bus essentially early in May, and it looked bad. Frank the Tank was having his rant early, April, May, and early June. So yeah, I think it's one of those things where don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened, or whatever that cliche quote is, because you kind of nailed it there. Like, with the talent that they had, they should have been there. But the way that it looked early in the year, that they were not going to get there. And
Yeah,
yeah, I think yeah, you nailed it there. They were sort of like a Cinderella type team where they had like everything going for them. And it's kind of like they had all the storylines were there. You have Jose Iglesias, who was in the minors, or like no team signed him, was in the minors, comes up, has this song, it's powering through. You got Pete Alonso, who's on his last year of his contract. Who knows what's going to happen with him? You got a rising star at third base with Mark Vientos. You obviously have a potential NL MVP, follow up to Shohei Ohtani at shortstop. You have some of those guys, those brawlers. You hate them when they're on a different team, but you like them when they're on their team with Jesse Winker. You have some veterans with JD Martinez, Brandon Nimmo, Jeff McNeil. Like, you have those guys. Sean Manaea, who, like, after struggling for so long, saw Chris Sale pitch and change his arm slot, and is
yeah,
suddenly the best pitcher in all of baseball. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Edwin Diaz, I know he kind of had his up and downs in the postseason, but obviously with the issues that he had in the beginning of the year, and obviously with his unfortunate ACL tear during the World Baseball Classic, during that celebration, like his comeback. So yeah, there was just a lot of things writing for that team, and it was one of those things where, like, I wanted the Dodgers to win, but I would have not hated if the Mets got there just because they were a fun story. They gave us the many laughs with the Rizzler being there during Game 5. Game Mets, the Game Mets,
Man, so
Grimace,
you
seeing all
tell
the
me we could have had the Rizzler versus Big Justice that we could have had.
we
Damn.
we could have had it. It came close.
But the playoff pumpkin got rotten,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
playoff pumpkin. I
They
didn't even mention
rotted
the
out.
playoff pumpkin. I was hoping
Yeah.
they would have Tops would have put out a Rizzler. I mean, Rizzler top snout card because he was on. They put him on the jumbo stand. He was doing his Rizzler face. So I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, man, I'm just waiting for a top snout card of the Rizzler, a 101 card. But yeah, the Mets had everything going for them. I think what happened here. I don't think I'm gonna look up some quick numbers here of how they performed. Really quick. I know they did pretty well. Francisco Alvarez had a good postseason. Jesse Winker, Lindor hit 292, even with the injuries that he was dealing with. Pete Alonso, Mark Vientos continues to ball out. So yeah, I think they're going to be fine moving on. It's going to be interesting to see, like you mentioned there as well, how they handle that money coming off the books. How Stevie Cohen decides to handle this offseason. If he re-signs Sean Manaea, I would believe Sean Manaea will opt out. I think he's due for a $15 million player option, I believe. I'm pretty sure he's going to opt out, fill some more offers with the new performance, the new arm slot. JD's coming off the books, so we'll see what happens with that. And I do expect them to be in the Juan Soto sweepstakes. But kudos to the Mets.
I think
I think there's
the big contracts I think that are coming off too is Verlander and Scherzer. I think
oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
those are
I
that's like
oh
80
yeah, I did
mil
not
right
think about
there.
that. Yeah, I did not think
I
about
think
that.
those are the two big ones that are going to come off. So that's some Soto money right there.
Yeah, that is Soto money right there. Yeah. Oh man, I didn't even think cross my mind about that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So very interesting for the Mets. Kudos to them. I did not have them going that far. Had them losing in the wild card to the Brewers. But yeah, I think their future is very bright with the stars that they have. It's going to be curious to see what they do in the offseason, and we'll definitely be covering some more Mets when that offseason comes into play. But now to make that transition to the actual World Series, the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. I put out a tweet here on my end as well on the Moon 3PO. Follow Bro PO as well because he at you see his underscore there at Robbie. That is at ROBBEEE. So feel free to check that out there. But I think what I was going to say here with the World Series that Rob Manfred and the MLB writers could not have written a perfect script for this. This is like the most like perfect World Series that I think anybody could have written up. I think Rob Manfred is just sitting in his chair and is waiting for loads of cash of to come in for this World Series. And we're back. Some technical difficulties on our part. I apologize. But like I was saying here before we get to it, the World Series, perfect script for both Rob Manfred and MLB writers there, just cashing in on those funds. Rob Manfred is just sitting there on the throne, waiting for all the cash and the TV ratings to come into play. I don't think MLB could have scripted a better World Series.
Oh yeah, I mean you got your two of your more storied franchise. It's like that Joker meme in The Dark Knight where he's in that big old pile of cash and he just jumps off and slides down, and he's like that. Yeah, that's Rob Manfred right now. And it's kind of funny because it's I like the. I'm glad that we're at this matchup because it is kind of like it's entertainment value. They're both really good two teams. But of course, you have your people bitching online that like, oh, like it's the Yankees, the Dodgers, and blah blah blah. Yet these same people were probably complaining last year that the Rangers and the D-backs are in the World Series. It's like you people just can't win. Just take it. Like just enjoy it what it is. Um, yeah, I kind of figured. From a marketing standpoint, yeah, this is going to be I honestly probably think this is probably going to be the highest rated, probably most watched World Series and maybe ever, maybe or in the last couple of years. I don't know what's the last highest rated World Series to be honest with you. Let's see if we can find that out real quick.
Well, yeah. While you look that up here, just to put into some context as far as of what I think this is gonna do, because yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I think this is going to be one of the highest rating when it comes to the World Series. Obviously, you got to think about the international impact. Just some things to think about here. I'm not too sure how familiar you are with anime, but that Japan is postponing the season premiere of One Piece so they can show the World Series. Like that's how big that is.
Damn. I'm
Yeah.
not big on the anime, but I know
Curtis.
I've heard of One Piece.
Yeah, courtesy of baseball doesn't exist here. He put out a tweet that they're postponing the season premiere of One Piece so they can show the World Series in Japan. Um, that is just crazy to me, and to put out even more numbers as far as of that. The ALC, I know both the AL and NLCS there did numbers. I believe there was some numbers as far as of that. Um, what did it come out here? I know Bob Nightingale had it that these were the highest since 2017. Game one and the NLCS drew more than 20.6 million viewers in the US and Japan combined. In Japan, game one drew an 18 HH rating, which translates to approximately 12.1 million average viewers, making it the second most watched game in Japan in MLB postseason history. So they're already up. So, and that's just Otani alone. When you're including Soto, Betts, Judge, like that number is going to go even higher. So I'm not too sure if you have it. I'll let you go at it if you have the highest rated World
Yeah,
Series. But
so
yeah,
I asked ChatGPT, so if this is not wrong, blame ChatGPT. But according to them, the highest rating, which drew 44 million viewers, was the 1978 World Series between the Yankees and the Dodgers.
ironically enough.
So yeah, so I mean, and I even tried to Google it. It says that is the most watched. And right behind that, interestingly enough, there's not like any modern day World Series. Um, I'm trying to find. Yeah, like they're all in the 80s. Like the second one was the 1980 World Series between the Phillies and the Royals, and then after that was 1981, which again was the Dodgers and the Yankees. So it's kind of like I don't know. I think this. I honestly think though this one's probably going to pull in bigger numbers because, like you said, it's going to pull in um, ratings from Japan too. So yeah, it's going to be a big one.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be a big one. Just from the marketing standpoint, it's going to be just crazy. Obviously, we already seen all the videos. The highlight, I believe today was World Series photo day, so they're doing all the pictures about that. Really quick, I don't know if you saw the pictures. How do you feel about the World Series patch being on top of the?
You
No,
got to sleeve that. You got to sleeve it, dude. I think that's
I
how
don't
they
hate
used
it.
to do it back in the day. I think it wasn't it on the sleeve,
Yeah, I think everything has always been on the sleeve. I don't hate it.
right? That just looks weird. I don't know. I'm not used to like little patches on here. I like
To
it
me,
on
it's like
sleeve because
NBA. It's like
on the
finals.
sleeve it looks humongous. That's why I think that's probably why. Like it just looks like a little cute little boop or like a little
The
flower.
only thing I could think of is like if it was because of like the advertising that's on the sleeves. That's the only thing I
That's
could think of.
probably
But
what.
then the counteract to that is like, well, you can always put on the other sleeve. But I don't know where the advertisements are on the sleeve, so I don't know if they want it like on the right hand side or left hand side. I really don't know.
What's
That's
like
like the
the
only thing I could think of.
what's like the Mets? I swear to God, on the other opposite sleeve they had like four little commemorative
Yeah.
like for people who passed away. I'm like Jesus. And then of course the other one you have your advertisement. But I mean, there's got to be a better way to to get the World Series patch on the sleeve. There has to be a way to do it. They got to figure that one out because it just I don't know. It doesn't look rewarding. It looks so small. It's like a little.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen like the actual like res of it, like how it looks size wise, but the placement of it, I don't hate. I know some people
I saw the
were
Yankee one.
hating.
I don't know if the Dodgers ones are out, but I saw the Yankee jerseys and it looked like a little cute little bow tie or a little handkerchief. Like when you spill
Let me see if I
ketchup
can
on
bring
your
up
white shirt,
the
like a little mark.
I don't eat ketchup, so I can't relate to that. Um,
Buffalo sauce.
all right, now
Please
I
put
can
some
relate to
buffalo
that.
sauce.
I
But
can relate to that.
yeah, they gotta move that patch.
See, the Dodger one looks better. I don't know. Oh, you can't really see.
It's kind of blur. I'm gonna have to look it up. Is that on
It's,
MLB's Instagram?
yeah, MLBs. Yeah. See, because it makes sense on the Dodger uniform because they have the whatever their advertisement logo is on the right sleeve of the jersey, and then they have the LA logo on the left side of the jersey. So I realistically don't
Mm.
know where they would have
Yeah, that's
had
good.
theirs. Let me see. I'm pretty sure the Yankees already posted something on theirs, but like the Dodger one to me makes sense. Like that looks fine.
Mm, no, I don't like it. It's too little.
Damn. Yeah, I don't see anything on the Yankee side, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'm a fan of it. If you don't like the patch, I'll sign up in the comments down below. If you're watching on YouTube, or feel free to tweet us at our channels, on our handles there, and see if you like the patch, and or do not like the patch. But kind of want to hit it there a little bit more before, I believe, right before you cut off too, like talking about the hate that this series was getting online. Like the way I see it too is like they seem to haven't won anything in a long time. Granted, you had the Dodgers win in 2020, but that was a COVID year. It was short. I mean, some people discount that. I personally do not. But I mean, the Yankees haven't won since 2009. Have they been winning since? You can make the case and argument that they have, but they technically haven't won a championship since 2009. So you have that argument, and then yeah, the Dodgers obviously, yes, they're always there, but they always don't come out um, on top. So from an entertainment value, it's going to be a phenomenal World Series. I'm going to be glued to my seat every pitch. And then just from a team standpoint, I don't hate it because it also just shows that yes, we love our money ball, we love our nerds. Obviously, if you guys know me personally, like I love that stuff about baseball. That's just me personally. I know some of the old timers hate it, um, but it proves that you do need to spend money. Like there's no denying that if you want to win, that you have to spend money. Like there's no denying that the Dodgers go out and spend 700 million. I put 700 million asterisks because obviously he's not making that much this year. Or
Yeah.
spend 325 million on the highest paid pitcher with Yamamoto. But when you spend money, you use your resources well, you get there. What do the Yankees do? They trade for Juan Soto. They're there. They obviously took a little bit longer than expected. You sign Garrett Cole. They're there. You resign Aaron Judge. You bring him back. They're there. So it just to me so proves again that if you spend the money, you use your resources well, you know what you're doing. Um, in the end, that's what's going to get you to a long postseason run. So I think that's what some fans might maybe disconnect about that, but in the end, I like it.
Yeah, I think as for some reason I think it's probably just baseball. I don't know. I don't really follow salary caps in the NBA and NHL and NFL and all that good stuff, but in baseball, people just love to see the teams that spend money fail because they're like, you spent all this money, it doesn't work, and then you get bounced out of the playoffs early, like the Phillies did, or the year before them, the Braves did when they're like a 100+ win team and they get knocked out. But then when the smaller guys get in there and they have a bunch of no-name superstars, they're like, "Oh, this is boring." And it's like, well, what do you want? Do you want the highest spending teams in there, or do you want like the young up and coming, prospect teams? Like you gotta like last year, I remember people saying that the World Series was boring because between the Rangers and the D-backs, I think the D-backs for the sixth seed. I think last year, I don't remember
Yeah.
what the Rangers were. I don't know if they were the fifth seed. I think they were the fifth seed. Um, and so people said that was boring because there wasn't like any big names, But I mean, it's a good way to like see up and coming stars, like like they got Corbin Carroll on the D-backs, you had Adolis Garcia with the Rangers, Wyatt Langford was over there. Did he play last year in the World Series? He did, right?
Yeah. Josh Jung,
Yeah,
Evan
yeah,
Carter.
yeah.
Uh,
So,
yeah.
and so now this time around, now you got the big names. You got Judge, Otani, Betts, Giancarlo, all those guys. So, um, it's gonna be a good series. I think it's gonna be a dogfight, but I think we're gonna agree on who's gonna win. Am I right?
Yeah. I'm sticking with my bracket. I am not changing my bracket. I am riding with my bracket. Um, Even from a obviously I know I've been speaking non-biased basically this whole podcast with talking about the Yankees and how much I don't like the Yankees. Yeah, and honestly, I do have the Dodgers taking the World Series. I do have them taking it in six. I believe they'll take the first two. They'll drop game three. They'll win game four. And whatever happens. But yeah, that's the way I kind of have it playing out in my head. But I do have the Dodgers in six.
So do the Dodgers have home field, right?
I believe so. Let me confirm that.
So that means games 1, 2 would be in LA, yeah, and then 3, 4, 5 are in New York,
Yeah, Dodger Stadium.
and then 6 and 7 would be in LA. Okay. Yeah, so you know what? I think I'm gonna pony up on that. I'm gonna go Dodgers in 6. I think they're gonna get that celebration that I think they so desperately want. So I think I have them clinching in LA in front of all their fans. They get their parade. You hear that, Kike? You get your parade, all right? I know you want that parade, buddy. Um, yeah, I think they're gonna take it in 6. I guess we can kind of talk about what we like and I guess what we don't like about the team. I think the only thing that like legitimately worries me about the Dodgers is that damn bullpen games that they throw out. Like they've gone 2 for 2 that it's worked, and I don't know how many more times you can push that because now you're just burning through your bullpen guys. And so I think that's the only really thing that worries me about the Dodgers. But I mean, if you're gonna have a bullpen game, but your offense is throwing up 8, 9 runs, I mean, you know, Um, that's the same thing. Actually, that kind of worries me about the Yankees too. Is their bullpen? I think Luke Weaver is starting to show some a little. I know he had that game in Cleveland that he kind of lost, but I mean, not to shit on the guy, but it's Luke Weaver. Like he's having a really good season, but it's like this guy was DFA like I don't know how many times and stuff like that. Like he's not like he's. I think he's what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's found like a glitch and it's working for him now. And I think
Yeah.
it's just I don't know how long it's gonna hold on to him. Clay Holmes can't hold on to a baseball without getting scared. Um, and I mean the Yankees offense is not really running right now. Besides a couple of guys, I mean Judge for God's sakes. So I was looking up his numbers really quickly. In the whole postseason, through 9 games, he's batting 161 with a runs created plus of 94. So he's below average. So if these Yankees are gonna get some offense going, they need their captain. They need the Capitan. They need to get going. Because I think if he goes, the offense goes. I mean, you saw it like in that Cleveland game when he hit that home run. Did you see that fucking bench? Like they
Yeah.
legit all came out like they won the game right then and there. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like
That's why I made
like
the
it's
analogy.
yeah. Like I don't know
Yeah,
if
that's why I made the
Giancarlo can keep up the
analogy.
space too.
Yeah, that's why I was like making the analogy that John Carlo and Soto have basically carried his dead body to the finish line um, to get to the World Series. Because yeah, he hasn't done anything. Even John Carlo, yeah, 294, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs. Half of his hits are home runs, so let that sink in. For the total postseason, Josh Chisholm is hitting 147. Juan Soto's hitting 333. Um, Verdugo, it's Verdugo hitting below 200. Volpe's hitting 310. But yeah, other than that, like Jason Dominguez hasn't even sniffed a game here. I was going to be curious to see how that they do that. It's only had 2 games, no plate appearance. Yeah, so I was like, I don't know what the whole point of having him on the roster. It's going to be curious to see how they operate or work around that. But yeah, I think the dark horse for me, or like the thing that's going to carry the Dodgers, is going to be the pitching again. I've emphasized in the pitching. I think the break is going to help them. I think they, after those bullpen games that they've had, that break can give them a little bit of a relief there. Like when's the last time that Blake Treinen has asked to get 2 innings? Obviously Michael Kopech, we've highlighted him a lot. But those arms can get a little bit of a break. It hasn't been officially announced that Jake Flaherty is going to be going game 1. I don't know. I'm assuming game 2 they will more than likely go um, Yamamoto. Yep, it's been confirmed.
Probably,
Jake
yeah.
Flaherty, Garrett Cole, game 1. Yankees have yet to announce a starter for game 2, but we do got Yamamoto in the world's pitching game 2, which I think will help them because, like, obviously that New York environment can be a little bit crazy. So who knows how he would have responded to that. So kind of keeping him away from there, pitching in LA where he's familiar, where it seems like he's found a little bit of a footing, even though like 5 innings is nothing crazy, but in the postseason, that's something that obviously is all that you ask for from your starting pitching these days. Um, but yeah, I think Jake Flaherty goes out and shoves. Going to be curious to see how Garrett Cole, how he operates, because even in those games too that he pitched against the Guardians, it wasn't like dominant. Like they were hitting the ball pretty hard.
Except
So
that one game he had, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think
yeah,
he got the bases loaded twice, I think. Or is that the World Series that I'm
yeah.
getting it confused with? I don't know. It's one of those
No, it was
two
the
series.
Guardians.
Was it the Guardians? There was like two
Yeah, it was
times
the
that he
Guardians.
loaded the
Yeah.
bases up. And I'm like, Yeah,
Yeah.
they can
So
easily.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then if they can find a way to, like you mentioned there, find a way to pitch to Giancarlo, keep that ALCS MVP on lock, and if they continue to do what they're doing to Judge, or find a way to continue to have Judge, excuse me, struggle at the plate, I don't see in a world where the Dodgers do not win this and cap off what I would think will be a perfect season for the Dodgers and for Shohei. Um, and yeah, to see how it goes. Mookie gets his third ring. Otani obviously being there. Freddie Freeman gets his second ring. Kike gets his parade and gets his second World Series ring. So, yeah, it's going to be an exciting World Series. I'm excited to watch it, and definitely will be glued every pitch that I possibly can.
Yeah, I think also too. I was like looking up some quick rosters. You're gonna have a lot of like homecoming for some Yankee players. I was looking up like judges from California. I think Cole went to UCLA if I'm not mistaken.
UCLA, yeah,
Um, Stanton's from the California area. Verdugo played for the Dodgers. Um, so yeah, you're gonna have some some Yankee players playing with a little chip on their shoulder, maybe a little pep in their step. Um, so I don't know. It's gonna be good. It's
yeah,
gonna be
and we
fun.
and forgot to mention that too. Ironically enough, Verdugo and Mookie playing against each other in the World Series.
Funny.
Obviously, talk about that. Yeah,
Yep. I don't want to
yeah.
talk
So
about that.
I've seen it firsthand how he performs. When it happened. I'll never forget that when for those I don't know, I was at Fenway when Mookie made his return and seeing Verdugo kind of pop off during that. Uh, yeah, was kind of crazy. And actually, fun fact: if it does go Game 6 like we predict, we will get November baseball because Game 6 will be played
Oh
on
yeah,
November 1st, so on a Friday.
nice.
So that'll be pretty cool. And if it does go to Game 7, if necessary, that will be Saturday, November 2nd, and then our first official game will not be until February 20th for spring training against Dodgers and Cubs. I just happened to know that after I just swiped and saw that that was the next available schedule. After that. So there you have it. Dodgers in 6 from both Moon 3 PO and Bro PO. That is going to be our World Series prediction there. Keeping with my bracket, and Bro PO jumping on the Dodgers train here with a 6-game series with the Dodgers bringing the championship back to LA. Now, as far as the future podcasting here, we are going to let the World Series officially wrap. I know there are some other forms of content where you guys get every game. We are very busy people, so unfortunately, that is not in our cards. Unfortunately, maybe if something dramatic happens, then maybe we'll do something. But as far as right now, we will let the series recap, and then we will go from there. So obviously, you heard it here. November 1st and or potentially November 2nd will be our first recording day here, leading to potentially a November 4th episode being released or recapping everything postseason and World Series ball. Obviously, keep up with the socials, both at Moon3PO. That's where you can find me there. And you can find at BroPO there at _ Robbie at ROBBEEE. So, and he will be added there in both the YouTube channel. I think will be down description down below if you're watching on YouTube, and or in the tweet promoting this, and also in all the video clips that come out promoting the video. Now, before I go to anything further detailed, I will obviously throw it to you for final thoughts. Anything on your end that you'd like to share with the good old listeners of Cardboard Dugout?
Uh, yeah. We hit up a card show this past weekend. If you haven't seen the vlog, go check out the YouTube channels. Check out the vlog, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I think I was like, I think this might have been the first time that I picked up a little bit more cards than you did. I was
Yeah,
I was
you
wheeling
you
and
picked
dealing
up
up in
more than
there.
me.
Yeah, I picked up some Jackson Holiday rookie cards. So see how those plays out. Sold a Pokemon card. You can see my foot in the video as I'm making the deal. Um, so yeah, we had that going. So I know we have a couple of other shows coming up, like little smaller ones. I
Yeah,
saw them. They're gonna pop up in November. Um, we're trying to work out something else with a certain carb shot that we're trying to get squared away with a nice little vlog. So keep on lookout for that. But just really quickly on the back on the daughter side, Fernando Valenzuela passed away last night. So I know I tweeted it out last night. The damn legend. If you haven't seen it yet, go to ESPN Plus, or maybe it might even be on Disney Plus since they're conjoined, or
it
maybe
is.
even
Yeah, I need
Hulu.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, there's a documentary on Fernando Mania, and go and watch it, and like it's pretty crazy. You'll get a lot of good info. Um, Essentially, he's kind of just like I mean, I don't want to say he's a Jackie Robinson because Jackie Robinson did a whole lot, but he is kind of that Jackie Robinson type barrier player for the Hispanic people. If you actually go and look at the documentary currently, just like give you a little bit of detail, where Dodger Stadium is currently at, it used to be housing for like lower income, like Hispanic families that were there. So when the Dodgers were being moved from Brooklyn to LA, they essentially like kicked out and moved out all those families that were in that area to build Dodger Stadium. So for the longest time, like Hispanics and Latinos didn't support the Dodgers because they were like, "Hey, y'all took us from our home to build this baseball stadium." And then Fernando Valenzuela came in and basically did a whole 360 for that culture and for that team. And so now you see him even with the City Connects. I think it was last year when they had the Los Dodgers and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it's a pretty cool story. So yeah, definitely go watch it. And if you're an MLB The Show player, there's a free 99 Ronaldo Venezuela card you can go and grab for free in the market. So go check that out. But other than that, that's all I got.
I know I gotta go grab that. Haven't had a chance to play MLB The Show these days recently. Gotta load that up and get that card. I did see that, so I gotta get that up here. And yeah, I know I heard some stories about that, about the whole like Dodger Stadium and the like low income Hispanics and all that. And he kind of did that. But yeah, I gotta tune into that documentary. I know you even before the past, like you've seen it before, and you were telling me to watch it, but I definitely need to go give it a watch. So yeah, unfortunate passing. Obviously, us two being part of that culture as well, I think he represents something a little bit bigger than life. So definitely got to go um, and check that out. So yeah, rest in peace there to Hispanic legend and to Dodger legend and lefty legend Fernando Valenzuela.
And San
Yeah, so
Antonio
for
Missions
and
played
San
here
Antonio
for the
missions,
Missions
you are
too.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously, if you don't know, we're from the San Antonio area. So yeah, definitely, I saw that picture. Like, damn, I forgot to pitch for the mission. So um,
yeah.
pretty cool. I gotta see if there's a card of like him in the mission. I maybe, but yeah, I gotta see maybe there's something out there.
You
Gotta
got
throw
that
it maybe for
Pedro
the
card
PC.
right from that
Hmm.
the pro debut. Did you have it? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
yeah,
there's got to be out there.
yeah. I'm pretty sure
Maybe
there
we'll
is.
use
I'm
maybe we'll
positive.
use our good friends at Collects to help us track down a Fernando Valenzuela San Antonio
Use
Missions
some
card.
Codex credit. Yeah, use some
Yeah,
Codex credit there. And yeah, but I'm not gonna do that when I go to sleep tonight. I'm gonna look up some Fernando Venezuela cards on Collect, see what I can find something. So shout out to those guys. Obviously, there's some good things cooking up with them. Um, I'm losing my breath here. But yeah, final thoughts here on my end. Yeah, if you guys haven't yet, go check out the card vlog. I spent my bachelor party at a card show. Obviously, I that was more of like a little bit of a clickbaity title. Obviously, I did more than spend my day at a card show. But yeah, I did spend that was when my fiance was out doing her stuff with her bridesmaids. Bro Pew and I were at a card show. So yeah, if you want to go check out that video, go check that out. Link will be down description for that. Was a pretty fun vlog. And yeah, you picked up a lot more volume than I did. Um, so definitely got to go check that out, see what we picked up on our end. As far as of that, you kind of hinted it there as well. We do got something cooking here with another card shop, so we'll have that hopefully finalized soon, and we can get that ball rolling. I think that's going to be a fun little vlog for all parties involved. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, once the off season there comes around, I do plan on having a lot more guests coming onto the pod, so we can get a third party involved, get some interaction, get some Q&A, so kind of bring some freshness to the podcast. Obviously, with off season talk, it's going to be more just of what is going on, maybe in the trading card market, and obviously, of course, if any signings or anything like that do happen, we'll obviously cover that here on Cardboard Dugout. So yeah, that's all I had on my end. There are a couple more shows that are coming up. So if I do have the time, obviously I am getting married this month or next month. So I don't know what my schedule is going to be looking like. So we'll try to hit those shows if possible. But if not, of course, we'll keep the content fresh here, both on Cardboard Dugout and over at the Moon 3PO channel. So make sure you are subscribed. If you enjoyed this episode, wherever you listen to, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast, please feel free to leave a like and a rating. That is a free way to obviously help support ourselves and help support the podcast and let us know how we are doing overall as a podcast. And if you guys haven't yet, also link down description down below the Card Hedge. We do have an official affiliate link with Card Hedge. Link down description down below. You get a free 7-day trial if you use my affiliate link. Then obviously, if you continue to use the app, obviously that's supporting the channel. So please feel free to check that out. I do thank you guys for listening, watching, supporting everything that we do, and we'll see y'all in the next one.